Well, thank you for joining us. San Francisco has been well known for its Halloween festivities, and David Perry is here to tell us more about it. Home for Halloween. Is
Thanks,
that right?
Jack. Yeah, thanks for having us back. This
You
is
bet.
the sixth year of the Home for Halloween campaign, which was initiated by the San Francisco Mayor's Office, and it's got two goals. The first goal is to tell people to have a lot of fun on Wednesday, October 31st. The second is to tell them to, not really overwhelm San Francisco's Castro district, which is basically a residential and small business district. There is no street party, and if you do come, we want you to come in costume, but don't drink in the streets and don't expect a public event.
Okay, and so what other fantasy do you have?
Fantasy? I guess
No, I mean, it doesn't that happen every year?
Well, it's funny you ask that.
That is a problem.
It is a problem. Well, the party isn't the problem. The problem, frankly, is people who come in from outside of San Francisco and drink too much.
Right.
7 years ago, 6 people were actually shot seriously in the Castro, and at that point, then Supervisor Bevan Dufty said enough is enough, and they shut down the street party for the first time in history.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of people make fun of the campaign. They said no one's going to listen. We had less than 1,000 people show up that night, and that was the turning point. And so every year since then, 5 years ago, what happens in the Castro was what it used to be like when I moved here in the 80s. A party that is centered in the neighborhood, a lot of people in costume, they're going to the bars, they're having fun, but the streets are not closed, traffic flows, and there is a real significant police presence. So if you come there with guns or bad intentions or open cans of alcohol, you will be dealt with by the authorities.
Yeah. Well, it should. I mean, if you have a situation where 6 people get shot, this is not the kind of thing you want to attend.
No.
Come on, dear, we're going down to Halloween. People are getting shot all over the place.
That's it.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. But the thing that I want to emphasize is it's not just a Just Say No campaign, because homeforhalloween.com doesn't just say there's no party in the Castro. It also says there's a lot going on in Antioch. There's a lot going on in Oakland. There's parties in other parts of the city. So Home for Halloween isn't just stay home for Halloween. It's look in your own home community for events that are going on. And over the last few years, homeforhalloween.com has become the #1 website for people looking for anything to do on Wednesday, October 31st.
Well, it was a neighborhood thing when it started.
It started with Cliff's Hardware.
Yeah.
You, as a longtime San Franciscan, know that. It was something for the kids.
Yeah, and that started and grew, and to this point. Do you have, when you think about this, are there certain reservations you have about it in terms of fear that something might go wrong again?
Well,
I
knock
know.
wood. What is it?
Prayer
What is it?
might help.
Yeah, what is it? Benjamin Franklin said, "Be prepared for the worst, so when the best happens, you're delightfully surprised."
And has the police department, San Francisco Police Department, cooperated with what you're going to need for Home for Halloween?
Absolutely. Not only have the men and women in blue of the SFPD cooperated, they're really behind this, because what they saw 6 years ago was a community event that was bringing in a different community. And so they worked with the Castro residents and the neighbors and said, we're 100% behind you. So they couldn't be more cooperative or supportive.
Well, one of the problems, you already mentioned it is obvious. People come from all over the Bay Area and further to go to San Francisco for Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where the problem starts.
It is, and one of the things we want people to know is, that night BART always runs extra trains, Muni runs extra trains, and we have a public outreach campaign using BART and Muni and other public transit. We even have flyers and taxis. So if someone gets in with a group of people and says, we're going to the Castro, there's a big party, there's a flyer that says, no, not so much.
Yeah.
Stick it, in your own neighborhood. Stick to it in your own neighborhood.
Okay. All right, so October 31st.
Yep.
Is Home for Halloween, and safety measures are in place, and people should come and have a good time.
We want people to have fun. We just want people to be safe. It's actually a good message.
Okay. David, nice to see you here.
You too, John.
David Perry's been our guest. Thank you very much for watching.